Welcome to, what's the day? It's 27th, July 27th, 2020. It's been a very long year already. Negro Please, I'm Dallas Scott, Hollywood Huff. Quan, the producer, is here. So yesterday I was just having a conversation with my friend Steven. I was like, man, it's crazy to me that like we're watching sports even though the stadiums are empty. And some states like Nevada and Texas and Georgia and Florida are kind of like waiting to see if we're going to be shut down completely again. And then today, 14 members of the Marlins staff and players have COVID, so they had to cancel games against the Yankees. They had to cancel the Phillies games because the Phillies players have to be tested.
It's the cooties, man.
It's like, this is how it started with basketball, though, right? Like, Rudy got it, then it went to the Jazz. I don't know, who did the Jazz play? Do you remember before who they were playing, Quant? You're a bigger basketball fan than I am. Before it happened, and all of a sudden now they're like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like though, like basketball got it right. You know, somebody got it. They shut everything down, and it sucked. They bit that bullet. They came up with a plan, and boom, now we have basketball again, right?
Right. And we might continue to have basketball because they have a bubble. I don't know if you can do baseball in the bubble though. Like,
I think it's tougher because you technically have just bigger teams, bigger staff.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I mean, yeah, I think it's more to put into play, but at the same time, you're talking about $1 billion, you know, floating around between a handful of people. They should be able to figure something out better than what they have.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you just paid me myself, I could have come up with a plan over the last however many months they were sitting around
feel
not
like
playing. You know?
They should have all went to Arizona. Florida,
Yeah.
like, I don't know what Arizona's COVID numbers are, but that's what they do. There's a number of baseball fields there because they do spring training there.
Yeah.
So you could play multiple games at a time.
Yeah.
You could limit the travel so they don't travel like from state to state.
Right.
I don't know what the plan is. And I feel like now we're just going to end up having baseball canceled, which sucks because I'm a Twins fan and we scored 27 runs in 3 games.
It seems like baseball's whole plan was, let's just wait and see. And they literally were not trying to figure out anything, just waiting
Right.
and trying to see. And
Right.
then they got to a point and they're like, okay, let's play with no fans. Like, that's literally what they're doing, you know? It doesn't make sense to me.
But I feel like this is going to affect football so much, right?
Yeah.
Because, again, I don't know where you would play football in the bubble at. Like,
I don't think you can.
like,
I don't think you can play football in a bubble. It's going to be really weird with no fans in the stands for football games. You know, like I think some baseball games kind of get canceled because of lack of fans. So baseball players are used to playing in stadiums where there's not that many people there, right? Not enough to like affect the
Football
home court.
stadiums are
Yeah,
always,
but football is usually packed. Most games are fairly, you know what I mean?
And the fan noise in football,
Right,
is a
makes a difference, right?
difference, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they call him the 12th man in
Yeah.
Seattle, Kansas City's crowd noise.
right.
Minneapolis is the Saints, all these dome stadiums.
Yeah.
Crowd noise is huge. It has a huge
Yeah.
effect on, offside
Now-
calls on the offense and stuff like that.
If they can hear plays being called, different things.
Right.
Now you're gonna have teams play straight up. It's one less trick up their sleeve for a home team anyway.
Are they going to allow them to pump in crowd noise?
I wouldn't be shocked if something goofy like that was done. Like, you know
Right.
what I mean? If they just crank the speakers up
baseball's
loud. Yeah,
doing
you
some
know?
stuff, is experimenting
Yeah.
with
They
it.
got the signs in the stands, and it looks so stupid. The heads, like, they're not even proportionate. Like, they
Right.
just
No.
look goofy. Like, it's just like cardboard cutouts out there with these big old heads.
I meant to look up, and I forgot to look up what the charge was for those, like how much they charge people for those. I feel like the American people are we're taking back the country mode. And I think let's go to Florida. I mean, everything happens in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Ocala, Florida. Small town, nice little town. Retirement community. Guy by the name of William Smith. He's 28 years old. He was accused. Well, so this guy had already been convicted of being a pedophile before. Then he gets out of jail. He's dating this woman. He is accused of raping her 8-year-old daughter. The judge decides that he's not a threat to the community, so he lets him out on bail, even though he has a prior history and convictions of child molestation. And they found him in possession of child pornography when they arrested him.
Yeah.
So the judge decides he's really not a threat, even though he has a history of this and he's currently being charged.
Right.
So they set bail at $30,000, and it says he posted the bail. I don't know if he posted the bond of $3,000 or the bail of $30,000. What happened here?
Yeah.
He gets out of jail. Well, somebody's not happy that they let this guy who's a child molester / pedophile out of jail. And they decide to find Mr. William Smith and chop off his head, which in itself is pretty gruesome, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, he wouldn't be out here on the streets if it wasn't the judge's fault, because the judge let him out.
Yeah, judge let him out.
So it's definitely the judge's fault. So what do next? They take the body and the head and they drop it off on the judge's doorstep.
Wow.
3 a.m. in the morning. Judge's dog is barking, going crazy. Judge walks out to find out what's going on. Looks out on the porch. There's a body on the porch and a head on the steps.
Wow.
We the people.
Look. I mean, what do you want me to say here? Like, you got a repeat offender pedophile, right? He got off once. The judge doesn't. This judge in particular, I mean, you grant somebody $30,000 bail after allegedly molesting a kid, right?
So, I guess I don't understand, and I'm not a lawyer or I don't understand how judges come up with these bail numbers, right? Like
because you know what, and as much as I want to be lenient and try to give this man the benefit of the doubt, I can't. I feel like judges who give these things is because they would do something like that. It's just like with what's the Brock kid's name who raped the girl?
Yeah. He
gave that kid a 6-month sentence for rape. I mean, and it was a violent rape.
Yeah.
You know, behind a dumpster, 2 guys had to, pull this guy off this girl who was drunk and passed out, who was unconscious. Yeah. And a judge says, 6 months here, right? Like, if that doesn't repulse you to the point that as a judge, you don't want to throw the book at this man and give him a maximum sentence, to me, you would do something like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's something you could if you can relate, if you could be like, you know what, I kind of feel for this kid because I understand, like, I've been in that situation or something. Like, if you kind of have that feeling, like, that's why you would give a lenient sentence. Like, because if I'm a judge and this guy has already been arrested before for some sexual assault or child porn conviction, right? Yeah. And then he comes to me and now he's being accused of raping an 8-year-old child. In my mind, I'm thinking
they find him with child pornography,
right? And they find him again, right, with evidence that he's, more likely than not, in my opinion, I'm setting the bail at a maximum, right? And that's if I don't know if judges have to give bail in certain cases, or if it's just their decision. You know what I mean?
See, like, if he's a first-time offender, and I don't know the details.
If it was iffy circumstances and it was sketchy, and you don't know, right?
Say,
but
okay,
this guy's already been, you know what I'm saying? And they caught him with this stuff, and obviously he's arrested in front of you now. Yeah. Nah, bro, like you're not gonna post $3,000 and get out of this. You know what I mean? So I have no, like, if somebody cut the judge's head off and threw him on the steps of the court, you know what I mean?
Right.
I would kind of view this the same way, like, well, why are you siding with pedophiles? Like, you know what I mean? Like that. Like, that's my thing. Like, I have zero sympathy or remorse for a pedophile.
I can't wait to see who gets arrested for this.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, if it's the father of the 8-year-old. Like, we don't know much about.
Yeah, of course. They don't have any other real information out there.
Or is it like some vigilante who's just like, I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
I'm tired of Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah,
I'm tired of Giselle Maxwell. Like, we're not doing this anymore. Like, this can't happen.
I mean, you almost think, man, like, somebody has to. And it's like, yeah, I want the justice system to work its magic and do what it's supposed to do and put the bad guys away for life like it's supposed to happen.
Right.
I don't want all of us to run around committing vigilante justice and street justice and stuff like that. I would rather the courts work. But as we've seen in many instances, the courts don't work.
No.
They work way too good, if that's how you want to look at it, for certain people of color. And then they just work horrifically for other people who don't have as much melanin in their skin in most cases. Because it's a farce to say that no guilty black man has ever walked free. It ain't common, but it's happened. You know what I mean? It's also ridiculous to say that, like, you know, every white man who commits a crime goes to jail. You know,
as soon as you said that, O.J. Simpson came to everybody's mind. As soon as you said that,
right, of course. The one time a black man walked free.
And I don't believe O.J. did it. Actually, we had a good conversation with somebody who had some inside details that I was like,
yeah,
that's
and I feel so much better about my O.J. stance
after hearing that.
That information.
Maybe we can get that person to come on the show one day and explain that information. It's very interesting.
In short, to not leave just a ridiculous cliffhanger, like somebody, and this is a really credible person who knew some of the ins and outs of the OJ case, basically told us that OJ didn't do it.
Right.
And he gave us some reasons. I don't want to repeat them right now, but when he said it, I was like,
not only did he give reasons, though, he gave the suspect.
Yeah. He gave a real suspect, which actually makes perfect sense.
When you understand the reasoning behind and the evidence is like, wow, how did this?
I'm trying so hard not to talk about let's talk about something else. I can't hold it. But I have no sympathy for pedophiles, and
no,
I'm not gonna say that I'm glad this happened to this person, but I mean,
I watched this documentary on Showtime. It was a series called Dark Net, and it was just all about the crazy, weird stuff that happens on the internet. And they had like probably 3 or 4 episodes that were like child pornography-ish, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And one of them was so disturbing because like there are like browsers that like people download that are specifically like for like people who want to do like child pornography and stuff like that.
My gosh.
And like you have to like go through hoops, and it was crazy. Like you have to go through ins and outs so you can prove that you're credible and you're not law enforcement. And
wow,
it was scary as hell. Like, and like the amount of child stuff that happens in like foreign countries like the Philippines and Thailand, and then like it gets sold to the US and people live streaming little children. It was like
so gross, man.
It was one of those things like when I watched it, I had a hard time sleeping at night because I couldn't get that stuff out of my head.
Now I just said something about vigilante justice, but like when I hear these stories, I just think like if there was somebody to fund me and just send me to these people, I would do something very bad to them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like I always feel like if I became just a millionaire for some reason, I just didn't have anything, you know what I mean, to do, and
would you be
had
vigilante, Steve?
Probably
we get you a nice like cape or something, or a nice outfit.
I would end. It would be my goal to probably end pedophilia. Like I would find these places and wreak havoc.
All you have to do is just arrest rich people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Right. I wouldn't be arresting them.
Let's go to Minnesota, my hometown. So this is insane to me. Derek Chauvin, we all know the George Floyd. He murdered George Floyd, or excuse me, allegedly murdered George Floyd on camera. He's in jail now. Even the unions don't want anything to do with him. People want to bring up George Floyd's past. How about Derek Chauvin's past?
Yeah.
He is being charged with 9 counts of felony tax evasion. So those people who do, like, so he lived in Oakland. Eric, we'll get to your question in just a moment. He lived in Oakland, in Oakdale, which is a suburb of Minneapolis, and it's a pretty. I mean, it's not like Lake Minnetonka, but it's a pretty affluent suburb, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, how does a cop over there? But I'm thinking like he's 19 years on the force. He might be close to 6 figures.
Yeah.
And cops do some in Minnesota. They do a lot of security work, where they're in their uniform but off duty. I was like, I could see that. And they said his wife was in real estate, whatever. Him and his wife, they are being charged with 9 felony counts of tax evasion. They underreported between 2014 and 2019 $664,000. I'm sorry, $464,000 in income.
Wow.
How do you underreport $464,000 in income on a
Well,
police officer's salary?
I tell you, it
And
wasn't an
remember, he's not
accident.
a sergeant or anything like no. It wasn't an
Yeah,
accident.
it wasn't an accident. That's part of the how.
No.
Dude, they made you're doing you so his wife's in like real estate or something. $500,000 over 5 years. You're talking about roughly 464, roughly like $90,000 a year that was not reported. Right?
Right.
95,000 of that was from his off-duty security work.
Which is like 20 grand a year, over 25 grand.
Right,
a year.
right. Something like that, right? Which kind of makes sense, doing some part-time security work here and there, right? But they're clearly doing something more than just underreporting. This is what they got caught with.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and usually what it is there are people who are bringing in cash under the table. And the way that they get caught by these tax people is they get an audit or something. And then they go, well, for the amount of money that you spent and that we can track, so not even all the cash, but just what we can track.
I don't know what his house costs, but I'm guessing.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, so for the amount of money that they spent, they're saying that you spent $464,000 more than what you reported.
Right.
So that's not even including what they might have stashed in the mattress or in the wall.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And remember, she left him quick when he went to jail, right?
Oh yeah,
It's like she took some, like she's taking some.
And I believed right away that wasn't a moral thing. I think she was trying to protect something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And now I believe that she was trying to protect some money.
About
some other things.
$464,000.
At least.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because now if, let's say
his pension.
Right. His pension from what he earned at this point can be protected, or she can take it in divorce. You know what I mean? And all the things that she can take in a divorce. So if he goes to prison and loses everything, and she's got it, and he really didn't lose that much.
Right.
Or he'll lose half of whatever, but not all of it, right?
Until he's like year 6 in prison, and she's just like, I ain't got time for you.
Yeah,
I ain't
exactly,
putting no more money on your books.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? She's moving on,
Yeah.
you know? But I think it goes, the bigger picture is that this is not a clean cop. This is a dirty cop.
Yeah.
You understand? And although we may not have proof, so far we know, well, he's at least getting tax evasion.
Well, and I got to tell you, the thing that is interesting to me is that people want to bring up George Floyd's past.
Yeah.
Right? Oh,
Yeah.
George Floyd was a bad guy. Well, we're finding out that Mr. Derek Chauvin, the police officer, wasn't really
This is
the most
this is a
credible
little worse.
person in the world.
This is a little more than the fake $20 bill.
Right.
You know?
Not like and this is my conspiracy theory. I'm throwing it out there. I have no proof of this. I just feel like when there's a guy that you work with that you don't get along with in an establishment,
Mm-hmm.
and now he has a counterfeit $20 bill, you decide to kill this man on the street.
Yeah.
I've always thought since this began with that there was more to the counterfeit $20 bill than was said.
There's got to be a lot more to it, man.
Like there's more. Like we're gonna find out in the end that there's a whole lot of other stuff going on, and I think it's why the police union backed away from him. However, I also believe that Derek Chauvin is going to name everybody because that's what people do. People who are tough guys, who are I call them paper tough guys. You know, like when they have everybody else behind them backing them up, they're tough guys, right? Yeah. Because he had the entire police department, he had the police union, he was a tough guy.
Oh yeah, well, when they were waiting for him to be charged, the entire police force was standing in front of his house. Yeah.
And
of course.
Once your friends turn their back on you,
he's
either gonna rat everybody else out or he's gonna find a Jeffrey Epstein. he's gonna commit suicide.
Yeah.
You know, like something's gonna happen here. Like something's gonna happen in jail. Something's gonna happen, and then or he'll get shanked in jail, and they'll blame it on somebody else. It'll be somebody else's fault. These are all my conspiracy theories, and I'm allowed to do them because it's my show. But I just feel like it's coming. Like I feel like there's a lot more to the story that we haven't seen yet. I'm trying to find out. So like here in Nevada, we're waiting for our governor to make his update. and I'm trying to see if we have anything. Because Eric's question was, will Vegas tourism industry ever recover from this, or is it going to be permanently damaged? I think Vegas tourism recovers, not immediately, because I think that people just seem to forget about things. I think in a year, provided there's a vaccine for this and there's not some other type of pandemic going on, people will forget. Quan and I were just talking about the people on the strip and downtown and in casinos already. I feel like, though I know a lot of people, the weekends in Vegas are still pretty busy. The weekdays aren't what they used to be. So Eric, since we can't see it, can you just put in the message, what was his statement? Are we closing the state back down, or are we doing anything? Closing anything? Nothing? All right.
I think you give it a year, and I say year, I really mean like you give it the next summer. So whenever things open back up, I think the following summer, Vegas is going to be booming again.
Right.
Things will always be different for a minute anyway. With airlines, they may have their little distancing where you sit every other seat or whatever. I think restaurants will still have to social distance for a while, but I think that even right now, you're starting to see so many people walking up and down the strip, even with all the guidelines and stuff, that once things open back up completely, I think we recover.
So I guess it's Eric saying that he said that we're evaluating over the next week. I've actually, the longer we go without closing down, the more I don't think we're going to get closed down again. Like 3 weeks ago, I was making $5 bets with everybody that we'd be closed down in 2 weeks. I think I lost $25. Like, because I really thought we were. Here's the problem too in Vegas right now is right. Like the strip casinos aren't doing really that great, and maybe not the downtown ones, the places that require tourism.
Yeah.
But the casinos around town.
Yeah.
And I asked a friend of mine, I was trying to get clarification on this. So they can only have 3 people per like table in blackjack or whatever now, right? Mm-hmm. So because of that, they have to have twice as many tables open to do the same amount of business, which means they have to have twice as much staff open to do the same amount of business. And I'm curious if you're breaking even or making money at that point, and then every other slot machine is closed down in most casinos.
I'm gonna tell you right now, a little something you may not know about me. I worked in the casinos for a long time, and I can tell you this: what the casinos pays the majority of their employees who operate table games and poker and everywhere else is very close to minimum wage.
Yeah.
In most casinos, your minimum bet is higher than what we make paid by the casino an hour. Our money comes from tips. Everybody knows that, right? So at some point in almost every casino, other than like busy holiday weekends, they have a lot of tables that are just closed, right? So to open up an extra 7, 8, 9 tables is going to cost you what, $100 an hour? If you have 3 people at each table making bets, you're not hurting. It doesn't sting even a little bit. You know what I mean? It doesn't cost the casino anything to have us dealers there because we all make close to minimum wage, but we get stuck because the tips are so good. Right? So looking at it like that, I don't think revenue-wise, any of the casinos are literally batting an eye unless they're just nitpicking and being that cheap. You know what I mean?
The strip casinos, they need the hotel rooms. They need a lot more to survive.
Yeah.
The local casinos don't need that. And the problem is the local casinos are doing well, or at least okay right now, and the strip casinos aren't. So you can't, if he makes before when we closed down, it was easier because everybody was doing bad.
Yeah.
Right. So it was cheaper to close. It's cheaper now to close some of these strip casinos, even like Monday through Thursday.
Yeah. Because nobody's there. Right. Yeah.
Then and the casinos are still laying off people because they haven't.
Right.
So I just think it's gonna be hard for him to make a blanket. All casinos are closed now because he's gonna get backlash from those local type casinos.
Yeah.
That are dependent on the local community and not the. I don't think the strip casinos push back as much.
Yeah.
Because financially, it's 50-50 for them.
Right.
But when you get casinos around town like South Point and Red Rock and those type of casinos,
they're just packed with locals.
Right.
Yeah.
local degenerate gamblers.
Yeah.
I feel like those casinos are going to be it's going to be a lot harder to close them down.
Yeah.
And if you close, and eventually tourists will just come out instead of, so what, they're not going to win, they'll end up going to Red Rock anyway, right?
Right.
Which will help those casinos out
Yeah.
more than it helps the Strip. I think it's going to be a while before the Strip recovers, but it will. But I think that people who come to Vegas and come to have fun and not for the glamour and glitz,
Yeah.
who will stay at at Red Rock anyway, or a Green Valley or somewhere,
Yeah.
because they're nice casinos and nice hotels, and they just want to come get away.
Right.
I think that those people are still going to be coming here anyway.
Yeah. I think that's the thing is, a lot of people, like, here's the people who are coming now. They're either wealthy, they have enough money where they can do whatever they want whenever they want. And then you have the people who are like, oh my gosh, this $300 plane ticket is now $75. Oh my gosh, this $200 room is now $30. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the people who are flocking to Vegas right now.
It's funny. So I had a friend of mine call me yesterday, and she's thinking about coming out to Vegas, and she asked me for she's like, where would you stay? And I was like, oh, you can stay at like the Four Queens, the D, or the Nugget downtown for very reasonable. She sends me a message. She's like, what about Cosmo? I'm like, it's like one of the nicest hotels in Vegas, but it's also one of the most expensive. She's like, I don't remember what she told me the room rate was, but it was like ridiculous. I was like, you should stay at Cosmo.
Yeah.
Like if you can get a room at Cosmo for $50 or $60, you should stay at Cosmo. Yeah.
I've heard of like $30 to $50 rooms at some of the nicer places in town. I mean, you still got to pay like a resort fee. It's actually a little bit cheaper too. Some of the resort fees are a little less now, from what I've heard anyway. But yeah, dude. Like, I think right now, all the people you're seeing on the Strip, they're getting deals.
Right.
And most people are.
And Eric just brought up my next point. People in California are coming to Vegas because California is locked down. Same with Arizona. Parts of Arizona are getting locked down.
Yeah.
So we're getting. But to me, this is what's hurting us to begin with, right? Is that before we open back up, Las Vegas was like number 1 or number 2 for lowest amount of cases, most controlled coronavirus, most everything. Like, we have the best numbers in the country. All of a sudden, you open back up, and the tourists start coming, and then all of a sudden, Clark County is the highest grossing county in the country for COVID rates.
Yeah, I wonder which state brought the most cooties with them. Like, for real, you know what I mean?
Georgia, Florida, no. So it's a really unique situation here in Vegas, because we, more so than any other state, Nevada relies on tourism.
Yeah.
What cracks me up is that the real estate market here, like, I see people's rent going up, which is ridiculous right now, because you're talking about people without jobs. The market, the real estate here is going to crash so hard, because especially if they close again, because there's no way that people can come. And depending on what the federal government does, apparently Mitch McConnell and them got out and they said they only want to give people $200 extra a week because they want to
trying to get people to go back to work.
Yeah. But
some people don't have a job to go back to.
Right. Where are you?
Like, it's not an option for some people, you know?
Yeah, there are businesses closing every day because of what's going on. And you want to give them only $200 because you want to motivate them to go back to work. I
feel like our government always looks at like the lowest class of people and then try to make rules around that. Like,
right.
I feel like, and just in all my infinite wisdom and whatever I know, I don't think that most people want to keep sitting around at this point.
No.
Like I think the first month I was like, oh, a stimulus? Like, cool. I actually make some money. It was a relief for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can pay my bills, do whatever. But after like that first month, I got to get out the house, man.
Yeah.
I got to go. I have no desire to go play and gamble and go to the beach and all of that. I mean, I want to go as much as the next person, of course. Like, I need vacations and fun time, but I want to get back to doing what I do. I want to get back to work.
Yeah.
But I can't because my department's not open yet.
Yeah.
So at this point,
and your department is probably not opening anytime
and
soon,
it's probably not going to open. So I'm looking at a career change at this point.
Right.
But in the meantime, I know that there are a lot of people like me who their jobs just simply did not open.
Right.
Like, I can do almost anything, and I'll find something else to do. And I tell people, don't worry about me. I'm going to make it. I'll be all right. I've been in worse situations. But there are a lot of people, they only know how to do one thing.
Right.
Because they've been doing it for 10, 15 years. And now all of a sudden you take that away from them. And now what? You know what I mean? Like, you're not, like, they have to be retrained. Some people even have to go back to school, which, how are you going to pay your bills for the year or 2 years it takes for you to get another degree?
Let's say
to go
you're
do something.
like, a general manager of a chain restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
You're making like $70,000 a year.
Yeah.
All right. You're working your ass off because restaurants is a lot of work.
Right.
But the chain restaurant that you work for
Mm-hmm.
is going out of business now because of COVID.
Yeah.
Right. Like, because there are restaurants like Cucumbers and Sweet Tomatoes that didn't open back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is, you've been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years. This is what you know, right? Well, all these other restaurants are closing too, right?
Yeah.
There are very few jobs now available for restaurant management.
Exactly.
So now you have to go and find something else to do.
Yeah.
Right? And with most jobs, you're probably going to come in with some type of learning curve, right?
Right.
Like, you might end up coming into a job and you might have great management skills and you get a management job, but you're probably coming in at a lower management level than what you were at, especially in a new career, right? In a new business.
Right.
In a restaurant, if you go restaurant to restaurant, you could probably come in about the same. But if you're going into another type of business, let's say you make $50,000 a year now.
Yeah.
But your bills are all based off the fact that you were making $70,000
right.
6 months ago. Right? So that's $20,000 is a lot of money.
This is almost the exact situation that's happening in my family right now, which is my wife's business they're going out of business.
Yeah.
They are closed.
She works for a national chain too.
Right.
And a big company.
All over the
big
country, right?
corporation.
And they're closing down due to COVID, right? So here's what people don't get. It's not just her one particular store that's closing. It's all the stores, right? So that means all those managers, all those assistant managers, all the positions that she would apply for, so are all the other people who got laid off.
Yep.
So whether they're going to just
and she might be more qualified than them, but they got the applications in first.
Yeah.
And they might not even get to her application because so many people are.
I mean, yeah, the thing is there's one position and you got 15 people applying for it. Only one of them is going to get it. What are the other 14 people going to do?
Yeah.
You see, like, and this is not just a problem with one or two people. This is, look at all the places that close.
Yeah.
All those people have to find a new job. Even the businesses that haven't shut down, they have reduced hours. They're reducing staff. They're laying people off.
Yeah.
There's not much that anybody can, it's out of every hardworking American, it is out of their control. They simply can't do anything about it. So.
And see, this Eric is making a great point here, is that when the extra unemployment runs out or goes down to $200 a week and they stop protecting people from eviction, all hell's going to break loose again, right? Because people aren't going to have anywhere to go. If I'm getting evicted, not only this, so because of a pandemic, I'm getting an eviction, right? Now I have an eviction on my record, not because I was a bad tenant, not because I did anything wrong, other than live in America during a pandemic. Think about that.
Man.
And now I have an eviction on my record, so I cannot go and get a house or an apartment anywhere else, except for maybe low-income housing or someplace I don't want to live anyway.
Stay strapped or get clapped, man. I wish I had an answer for America right now.
No, like, don't we all though, right?
Man,
like,
it's so weird. And you got people who are like, oh, the economy, like, dude, nobody cares about the American economy. Like, I'm worried about my personal economy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's where most people are at. Like, I'm worried about how my kid's going to eat next month. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing that, like, is on most Americans.
And what's the ripple effect of this 6 months from now on the American economy?
Right.
When people don't have any money to buy consumer goods,
the
economy is going to go down.
Right.
Right. Like,
I mean, if we have umpteen $1 trillion in the military budget to go to war at any given time, I mean, can we just sprinkle a little bit of that into the American pockets for the next few months?
Hey,
so that we don't all starve to death or start killing each other?
If we have $5 billion to build a wall that got blown over by Hannah.
Oh, my Lord. This dude built the raggediest wall of all time. I'm telling you, you know what?
I don't care what your feelings are
dude.
about the border and the wall. The fact that a tropical storm blew the wall over is a major problem here, right?
Dude, okay, this has been said by probably every comedian at this point, but like Donald Trump is the president that we thought the first black president would be, right? Like we just thought like, the first black president would be like, ghetto and talking crazy and just, tweeting out of control and all
Chris
this.
Rock.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right,
like what Chris Rock said, right?
Yeah.
And that's what like Donald Trump is. And to just put a cherry on top of that cake, who is building this wall? Like his drunk uncle? Like, did he pay him with a 6-pack? Dude, like, if the wind can blow down the wall.
I mean, it's a high-powered wind. So we have a mutual friend, Matt, our friend Matt Habson. When he saw this story last night, he's dying. He's like, Trump should have called China to build a wall because the Great Wall of China has been standing for 1,000 years. Like, they know how to build walls. And like, how does this happen? Like, you know what you could do?
Who did you pay to build the wall? Clearly, he did. Clearly, the Mexicans didn't do it. Because I know some Mexicans in there.
$5 billion. And nobody, it's like when they build Harmon Place here at the city center here in Vegas, they built Harmon Place or Harmon Tower, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And they spent all those millions and hundreds of millions of dollars to build it and didn't realize it wasn't up to earthquake code. like, how do you get that far? It's probably the same construction company doing both.
Oh my gosh. All this to build a wall, we finally get it started, and then just a random wind blows it down. Yeah. Like that's wow. You can't make
it's a tropical storm. It's a
okay. It's a tropical.
Storm. It's a 50 mile per hour wind.
I mean, goodness, man. Like, come on, man. That wall costs too much for a tropical storm to blow it down.
That wall costs too much for a hurricane or a tornado to blow it down.
This wall should be bombed. I feel like if we got bombed.
We have a phone call? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Who's on the phone?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yo, what's up? This is OMS from San Francisco. What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Yeah, so what's going on with y'all?
We're
just
good,
checking
bro.
in?
Yeah.
What's the topic today?
We have lots of topics. Right now we're talking about a $5 billion wall to protect us from Mexicans coming across the border that got blown down by is it Hannah?
Yeah, Hurricane Hannah.
Or Tropical Storm Hannah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, thanks for checking in, man. All right, so
I don't know what's up with some of these callers.
Yeah.
But anyway, as I was saying about the wall, we paying way too much for wind to blow it down. Yeah. I mean, I was literally thinking, okay, $5 billion for a wall, right? If this wall is to protect us from the psychotic and crazy Mexicans who are coming across the border to rape and pillage in America, and they get in like some truck rigged up with a bomb and they ram into this wall, the truck's going to blow up, but the wall will still be standing. Like that was my like envisionment of the wall. Like this, okay, we're going to build, going to build a really thick wall, right? That they're either going to have to fly over or dig a tunnel under, which both of those are possible and will likely to happen because they happen now and they're not going to stop happening. But for the wind, a really strong wind to just take the wall down, which means we're going to have to spend more money than just building a wall, but constantly repairing the wall. Man, forget that, dude. Man, that's a bad idea. I mean, I already thought the wall was a bad idea for 100 other reasons, but
so you could have put that $5 billion in the next stimulus package.
Oh yeah,
and we could have kept the $600 a week.
And it's going to come right back into the economy. It's not. I mean, people act like this $600 a week, like we're all just saving it and stashing it and sitting on it. No, people are paying their bills with this. People are going to buy stuff with this. People are doing things like they are putting the money back into the economy, which was the whole point of it. Duh. Like, why do you think all these people are still here on the strip?
Right.
They're probably spending stimulus money.
Oh yeah, there's some people who right.
Trust me.
There's some people who were able to save some of it up, and then they went back to work. Oh, I got a couple $1,000s from stimulus money saved up. Let me go ahead and go over here to Vegas.
Trust me.
I haven't been to Vegas in a couple of years. Let me go over here.
For 90% of people, that money's going back into the economy one way or another now or in the next couple months.
So we're all aware of what's going on in Portland with the protests and stuff. Something that I think is interesting is that I feel like partly it's time for some of these protests to stop and us to move on to the next thing, kind of like with the Colin Kaepernick thing.
Yeah.
Like you made your point, let's move to phase 2 or step 3 or whatever it is. But again, the people are going back. Like in Portland, there's a lot of video where people are picking up the tear gas and throwing it back at the police.
Yeah.
There are dads out there, they're called the Wall of Vets and the vet dads who are out there with leaf blowers blowing the smoke back at the police.
Yeah.
They're I saw somebody with a baseball bat like swinging a bat at one that came in, throwing it back at the police. At some point, like, this is getting dangerous for everybody.
Yeah.
But in so much of this, I'm so tired of talking about police. But the police are being the aggressor still, right? Like,
right.
There's very clear footage of these people very peacefully protesting, right, and doing their thing, and all of a sudden tear gas comes. We're not talking about people who are rioting. We're talking about people who are just standing there, making their chance, doing what they got to, doing what they're legally allowed to do, and they are peacefully doing it. And the people who aren't peaceful are the police.
Most of the riots, not the riots, most of the protests that are going on now, there aren't any riots or any looting.
Right.
They're just standing in the street with signs, chanting.
Yep.
And then the police throw tear gas or they pepper spray somebody, and then it gets wild. Right. Usually right at that point. Jay-Z said it best. We're past kneeling. I'm past kneeling.
Right.
I'm done protesting. I'm done marching in the street at this point. I feel like it's a waste of everybody's time. At this point, and I'm not advocating for it, but rioting and looting has shown more benefits than peaceful protest at this point. At some point, we have to get action. And I do believe that, being in the streets, it still raises awareness. The world is aware at this point.
Right.
Everybody was sitting at home watching all this stuff happen.
Right.
We don't need more awareness. We need action.
We got major corporations to commit to change. We got
And so at this point, we got the
Washington Redskins to become the Washington football team. Like, I mean,
which is the goofiest name,
right?
But
there's been huge strides made, right, in the last 2 to 3 months, right? We've seen this huge shift in America, right?
Yeah.
And we've also seen a bigger divide because we've seen people start to show who they truly are in their true colors,
right?
Right. So, what's the next step?
Yeah.
Right. We've already protested, right? Whether it's Black Lives Matter or whatever you're like, that energy to me should be spent finding lobbyists and people who can make a difference continually on the government level, right?
Yeah.
Raising funds. Like let's find there are people out there who can help and move this along. But I feel like there's a lot of people who don't want to be involved as long as it still looks violent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you're always going to have that political aspect of it. You know what I mean? You're always going to have the people who, if you say Black Lives Matter, no matter what you mean, they're going to refer to the organization that is Black Lives Matter, which 90% of the people I know who chant Black Lives Matter don't care nothing about an organization.
Right.
But there will always be some people who use that as their excuse or their reason for kind of not being involved, right? So I don't have an absolute solution other than, I don't know, if you're a decent human being, put your money where your mouth is. Like make a difference,
It's you just said it. I want to know how many people actually support the Black Lives Matter organization as to the Black Lives Matter movement.
It's funny, this is really, it's really strange. All the people who are all about like all lives matter, and this is also really funny. Not all, but most of the Republicans I know, and they're all lives matter. They're like, they think about the organization when they hear the word Black Lives Matter, right? Everybody else I know, it's not even that everybody else I know even is thinking about Black lives actually mattering, like Black people matter. Most of them don't even realize that there's an actual organization called Black Lives Matter, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
So and I was like that for a year or so. You know, I was saying Black Lives Matter until I was having a conversation with a person, and I'm thinking about Black lives mattering, as in my Black life, my kids, my wife, you know, all that. And we were an hour into the conversation, and he said, I just can't support an organization that does that. And I was like, what organization are you talking about? I'm talking about Black Lives Mattering. And so we having a whole argument. I'm talking about actual Black people's lives mattering, and he's talking about an organization called Black Lives Matter. Right. And then I realized, what? And so, of course, now and even recently, you know, what they stand for and what they believe, like, I still feel the same way as if I never knew about them. I don't really care about the organization or the company, and I don't even really stand for half of the stuff that they claim to believe in.
And I
but
think
God bless them, they can do whatever they want to do. But yeah,
but I think the majority of people, it's crazy because I see so many people on Facebook who are so upset about Black Lives Matter, BLM. They're this.
Yeah.
When really, like we just said, the majority of us aren't talking about the organization.
Right.
When I say Black Lives Matter, I'm not talking about the organization. I don't make financial contributions to the organization.
Exactly.
I don't even think about them like as a group.
Yeah.
Like
and most people don't. And I feel like this is the argument that we're having. You know what I mean? Like we're sitting here. I'm sitting here trying to tell somebody, hey, my life matters. And they're talking about some random company that they don't like.
Right.
And I'm thinking that they're talking about not liking me. And the thing is, they're not listening to what I'm saying because I'm talking about my life mattering.
Right.
And they're still talking about some company that they don't like. You know what I mean? Like
maybe that's our movement. Maybe we should start a movement called My Life Matters.
My Life Matters? Yeah. Change the name to like Black People Matter?
No.
My Life Matters?
See,
I matter?
I also want to know, like, how many people just don't like the fact that it says Black Lives Matter? Like, if the name of the organization was anything other than Black Lives, like, what would people like? They would ignore it, right? It wouldn't.
Well,
it would just be in passing. It'd be static, and they wouldn't care about it. But because the word Black Lives, it's black.
Yeah.
Then like, oh no, they're bad. You know, like
what if I thought about this a while ago. What if there was just a bunch of people marching in the streets saying, our lives matter. Our lives matter. O-U-R. Our lives matter. Would you still get people saying, no, all lives matter?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I still, for the life of me, don't understand people who say all lives matter.
No.
I don't. And people try to I've had people try to explain it to me 100 different ways.
Do decapitated pedophiles' lives matter?
Not to me. When you got history of being a pedophile, man, your life don't matter, bro.
Yeah.
Because you know why? Because like rapists, murderers, and I'm not talking about people who are just accused of something. I'm not talking about, you know, like in a violent crime, a situation got out of hand, two people got into a fight and one person died. I'm not talking about stuff like that, but people who cold-blooded commit murder, rape, you know what I mean? Pedophilia, things like that, that you're just evil when you did this. You know what I'm saying? Like evil stuff like that. You've decided that other lives don't matter.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a person who doesn't care about other people's lives and they just want to satisfy this, whatever this sick thing is in them, you know?
Right.
Nah, their lives don't matter. And I think that, and even as a Christian, you know, like it's funny that the whole "Try Jesus" song has been going viral. Yeah. Don't try me. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things that like that people have to understand. And we talk about this, you know, with gun training and other things, where there comes a time where you may have to defend yourself, right? Somebody's trying to kill me, and I kill that person before they can kill me. Am I still a Christian? Like, am I still a loving person? Am I still a good person after I've taken a life? And I feel like if I've done that in self-defense, yes, I am. And that's a violent thing. It's an evil thing. And although the Bible says thou shalt not kill, and it doesn't give any description on why, I'm going to repent to God even if I kill someone in self-defense and preservation of my own life, right? I'm still going to be like, God, I'm sorry. I killed one of your children. I've taken a life, right?
But even if you're doing it in self-defense, you probably feel some type of remorse for that, though, right?
Of course. You know what I mean? Like,
you're not trying to kill. Like, you don't ever want to kill somebody.
I don't wake up every day like, man, can't wait to blast the food today. You know what I'm saying? But the people who do, you have to realize that, yes, we have issues in this world where there are evil people who do evil things, right? And I'm sorry, but you can't turn the other cheek to those people. Because after they slap one cheek, they'll slap the other one, then they'll punch it, then they'll stab it, and then you understand?
Right.
There are some evils that you just can't pray away. Somebody kicks down your door in your house. You gonna drop to your knees and start praying,
No.
or are you gonna take action? You understand what I'm saying? Like at some point we have to take action against evil.
Right.
And I'm not saying that we just go out, round up all the pedophiles and kill them. I can round them up and put them in jail. I think would be preferable for life. But at the same time, if somebody does kill one, what has this man contributed other than being a pedophile? What has Jeffrey Epstein done for anybody other than be a pedophile? He made millions of money for himself, right? You know what I mean? And then
helping other people be pedophiles.
Help other people be pedophiles.
Right.
People like that, I don't care if he killed himself or was killed in prison. The world is a better place without him.
When you're in your car with your wife and your kids,
Mhm.
and you're going to you're just between your house and Walmart, do you wear your mask? All of you guys in the car?
Not while we're in the car.
Okay.
No.
When you get to Walmart, you guys put your masks on?
Yeah.
When you get back in the car, do you take your mask off?
Yeah, we take it back off.
When you get to the house, you take the mask off?
It's already off. Yeah, we in the car, we drove home,
So, Dr. Fauci threw out the first pitch for the Major League Baseball this season with the Washington Nationals games.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He came to the game with some people.
Yeah.
I believe one was a relative, one was a friend, somebody he's around all the time.
Yeah.
They came in the same car. Dr. Fauci goes out and throws the first pitch. He goes and sits in the stands. There are 3 people in the entire stands. Him and the 2 people he came with.
Yeah.
And at one point, him and one of the other people don't have their mask on. And people are, see, mask can't be real because you're not making. First of all, you're in a stadium that holds, 60,000 people or 40,000 people. There are 3 people in the stands. They all came together. They're all together all the time. And you're worried about them not having masks on, talking to each other.
Right.
When they get in the car and they don't have masks on, talking to each other. When they go home together and they don't have masks on, talking to each other. When he was in all the areas where masks were required, when he was dealing with other people, he had the mask on.
Yeah.
47,000 other seats in this stadium that are empty. And people are like, well, see, you're not being honest with us because he's not wearing a mask at home with those people anyway.
Right.
Why is he going to wear it in a stadium with 40,000 empty seats?
People are just looking for reasons now to not wear masks.
This is like the dumbest conversation I've ever seen people have. And I'm feeling stupid for even bringing it up.
Okay, so let me explain how the masks work, right? And you guys can Google this. So,
what's Google?
Google is this company that created the search engine, and you can pretty much look up anything on Google, the search engine, right? So, here's how the mask work. If you have a mask that's rated N95 or higher, it'll pretty much stop but most airborne viruses.
Like 95%, right?
Yeah, like the flu and everything else. So it reduces the risk of you getting it. This is if you have your mask on properly, it's sealed, the virus can't get around, can't get through your beard, yada, 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 right? So it'll stop you from transmitting the disease or receiving the disease if your mask is rated that. Now, most people running around now do not have a mask, even if it's one of those little blue masks with the white stripes or whatever that you see doctors wearing. A lot of those masks are not rated N95 or higher. They're just called that. They're called like, surgical mask or, medical mask or whatever it may be, right? Those masks do not really stop you yourself from getting a virus. They stop or help prevent you from transmitting a virus, meaning if you sneeze, cough, you breathe out whatever virus, it's not going to go that far, right? It will barely go outside the mask, if that. Someone would have to be like close enough to kiss you to get your germs from this mask, right? So most of the cloth masks that people have on, the little like neck things that go around your neck, the face shields or whatever, even the clear face shields and all of that. Those don't stop you from getting the virus. They stop you from or help reduce your chances of giving someone else the virus if you have it. So if I go to the store with my mask on, I'm not protecting myself. I'm protecting other people in case I have it, right? Because you could be asymptomatic. You can have it with no symptoms or whatever, right? So the goal here is if everyone wears a mask of some sort, we reduce the chances of giving it to someone else. So all the stupid memes like, if your mask works, then why do you care if I have mine? Because my mask isn't protecting me. Your mask is protecting me, idiot. Like, pay attention. Read something other than a meme. People are spreading or getting their information from other idiots on Facebook who didn't even pay attention in high school. They probably dropped out, got a GED, whatever. And God bless you if you did. I hope you're successful in life. But you're not a doctor. We have a doctor. His name's Dr. Fauci. And he's giving us information because he's a genius in this field. There's like nobody in the country smarter than this man in this field.
Think about that though, right?
Pay attention to him.
Like, he is widely considered by every other doctor who does infectious diseases.
Yeah.
The most brilliant guy with, like, the guys who are geniuses at infectious diseases say that he's smarter than them.
Everybody in the league is like, this is the Michael Jordan of infectious diseases.
I was about to use the, like,
you know
he's
what I'm saying?
Trout. He's Michael, he's like, no, like, I'm a great hitter, but man, Mike Trout, boy,
you know
that's he's the best, right? Like,
look, I'm good. Yeah. He's Barry Bonds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
so
and then here you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, making $13 an hour in the warehouse.
It's like doctors are like, yeah, I'm good, but I'm no Dr. Fauci. You know, like
you know, I mean, come on, man. Look, and listen, I don't like wearing the mask either.
It's driving me.
Me and my kids are talking about it. I'm like, put your mask on. We're going in the store. It's like the only time I don't want to smack my kids for like talking back because I feel it. Like, I get it. I don't want to wear this mask either. I know it sucks, right? Nobody is saying like, hey, this is the best thing that America's ever come up with.
People who have to wear it for 8 to 10 hours a day while they're working, Phil.
I mean, these nurses and doctors and people who work in hospitals that have on like
even
four masks and a shield and hair protection. I mean, come on, man. I mean,
even like the people at Walmart, like, they don't have any choice but to wear. Like, nobody wants to wear it. Just
I mean, how about this? Let's try it for 3 months and see what happens. Right. I don't know if it doesn't, in 3 more months, if you wore your mask and everybody's wearing a mask and we still got a problem, take your mask off. I don't care. Like, but let's just try to see what happens. Like, come on, man. But I feel like there are so many other things that we could be mad about and upset about and throw a fit about. But are we really going to keep like going back and forth about literally wearing a mask? You know what I'm saying? It's just, come on, man. Like, oh gosh, dude. Like, I was so annoyed by all the Epstein memes and stuff, right? Because I could care less about a pedophile, right? But it's still just, at some point, that's kind of what this is becoming. You know what I'm saying? We're just like, what is this violin? I'm sorry. Like, I was trying
to cue.
He's giving me sign language to do music. I kept acting like I didn't know what he was saying. I just wanted to keep seeing him do.
The only thing I could think of was like, I did a little violin like thing here. So
we need another camera so we can see like what's going on off camera. So when I just like lose all train of thought, people know I'm not just retarded up here.
This has been Negro Please. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube page, please. I'm Dal Scott, Hollywood Huff. He's Quan, the producer. We'll see you next Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah.